So let's talk about this arc that I took on. It centers around a trope that is a more controversial trope inside the book talk community. The book is called Entanglement by L.L. Loveland, and it is book 1 in the Landlord series. I did end up giving this book 4 stars, and this book, drumroll please, centers around an affair. So yes, the cheating trope. And the reason I'm going to start with that is saying that is a huge big one that everybody cannot handle. That is like an instant DNF for a ton of people in the book talk community. And so I just want to talk about that before I go any farther in this review and saying, okay, guys, because I'm pretty sure this is the author's like debut novel. And obviously we don't want indie authors with their debut novel to get all these horrible reviews just because we recommended this book and say, oh my gosh, this book is so good. And then they go in and they're like, what am I reading? No one forewarned me what this book was about, because really the author does not deserve that. So I'm going to straight up say this whole book follows a couple that is having an affair. Maybe that'll bother you, maybe it don't, or you're like me and you're like, well, I really don't have any triggers, so I'm just gonna go with the flow and see where it goes from there. And that's kind of how I took this book. I can say even for me, there was moments that I was super emotional and I was kind of like, oh my goodness, like you wanted to root for the couple, but you were kind of like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. But also it was like a train wreck that you wouldn't want to look away from. The book itself is really good. It is written really good. And it is really depth and it's emotional. And I don't want you to think that this couple is just like randomly deciding to get together. It does have emotional depth and there is reasons to the situation they're in. Like, I get it. I just want people to understand, like, I don't want to give a whole lot away because obviously, you know me, I don't really like to give away spoilers on books. And if this is a book that you're interested in, I don't want to give the whole book away. But I do want to say they're not just going and having an affair just to have an affair per se. They did have situations in their lives, whether it's religious or pressures or whatever, in their lives that have kind of pushed them or led them into this situation where they are reaching for comfort outside of their relationship. The book does tend to be pretty angsty, and there is an age gap in the situation because the MMC actually is the landlord for the building that the FMC is running her business out of. You're also going to see a lot of religious pressures and expectations inside this book, which again is going to influence the characters. Like I said, I don't want to give a whole lot more away on that. Like I said, it's really complex. I know when I say, oh my gosh, they're having an affair, I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, this is just some crazy book. It's not. It does have depth. It is emotional. Obviously, if I'm giving this one 4 stars, it's not just going to be some like random bing bang boom book, because you know, I do not like to read books that are just random bing bang boom. That's just not how I like my books. That's just not who I am, and it's not how I like my books. The book does have suspense in it, as well as the couple is sneaking around. With them sneaking around, that means that they want their relationship obviously to be kept as secrets. And when they find out their secret, they choose to stalk and harass the FMC. I'm not going to go into much more depth than that because I don't want to give the entire book away. The book is fairly spicy. I did give it 3 on the spice meter as well. I did enjoy this book and I do recommend it to the right reader. And I know this book is definitely not going to be for everyone. If this sounds like a book you would be interested in, then I definitely would check it out. Like I said, you have got some triggers. I definitely wanted to start out with that because like I said, this author does not deserve to have their debut novel ripped apart in the book community just because it's got a controversial trope in it. I enjoyed it and I think you just might too.